What does it do for dysbiosis in terms of the sinus and your sort of your nasal microbiome? Does it change things significantly?
Yeah, it depends on the wavelength, right? So if we're using red or infrared, you're going to have more of an impact on the inflammatory status, which then can allow for better population of the microbiome. Now, if I'm using violet, I love violet use over the sinuses, over the microbiome, because that can actually have an antimicrobial effect. There's great studies looking at using violet even for COVID, for MRSA, for different, really stubborn infections. Violet can be very, very beneficial to actually eliminate infections. What I'm not saying is use violet to treat infections, all the legal jargon that goes along with that. But what I can say is that there are good studies that show the antimicrobial effect of violet. I'm starting to see a beneficial effect in using green in these scenarios as well. The reason there's multiple reasons. There's definitely an impact on hemoglobin, and it also impacts DNA methylation. So there's multiple things going on with green. There's still a lot of unknowns about green, but clinically we're seeing a huge impact there. But yeah, you definitely see a great change in the microbiome, whether it be sinus, whether it be the gut, when you use red, infrared, or violet directly over these areas. My preferred way to do it, if you know you have like a mold infection or some kind of something like that going on, I'll use violet and then I'll use infrared and then I'll use red. So you just kind of layer in the different wavelengths there.
Mhm. Okay, maybe you can just speak in. People might be asking, we've spoken a lot about the benefits of sunlight, God-given sunlight, and just the red
hmm
light that's in there, 40
hmm
to 50%. What type of, energy are you getting? What type of light? How important is that?
in regards to sunlight,
Yeah, just sunlight. I mean, I think it's
oh my gosh,
42% red.
yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah,
talking about lasers now, but then lasers a certain
yes.
frequency. Someone's listening saying, I've got a laser or got it. But, in the interim, what is sunlight in that red light going to do?
Absolutely. Okay, so here's what everyone needs to understand, right? I think I've developed the best laser in the world, hands down. I'm pretty biased, okay? But here's the thing.
You got to
It's
believe
not
that.
better. Exactly. It's not better than the sun, okay? There is no product on the market that is going to compete with what you can get from the sun, okay? Just not going to happen. The most pure red light you will ever experience is at sunrise, right? When that sun is coming up over the horizon, that is like the best kind of light that you can possibly receive, and we should all be getting this on a daily basis. We need to be observing the sunrise. This is going to start to spin the Krebs cycle. This is going to upregulate our mitochondrial function. This is going to set our neurochemistry in proper motion, right? This is literally like the spark that gives us life. We need to be getting that every single day. I'll also tell people you also need to be outside midday when you have those longer wavelengths of light. This you need to have exposure to your belly, in my opinion, so the microbiome can have a positive impact here. You also need to be outside as the sun is setting, right? This is another signal to the brain saying, hey, getting ready for bed, let's start to upregulate melatonin, let's start to calm the systems down, etc. Right? So those are three very key times that we need to be experiencing sunlight, and not just for the red and those types of wavelengths. Sorry, but also for the UVA and UVB components, right? So we have a substance inside of our brain, inside of our nervous system called POMC. And when POMC has exposure to UV light, this actually is what produces melanin. And melanin is exceedingly important for neurological function, right? Most people think of melanin as like getting a tan. But we actually have melanin buried inside of our brain. We have most people know about neuromelanin, right? This is the black substance in the substantia nigra, which helps us with dopamine production and et cetera. But we have melanin scattered throughout our entire nervous system. This is important in today's day and age because that melanin is actually protecting our brain from non-native EMFs. Okay, so opposite of that, if we're, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but if we're isolating ourselves from the sunlight, right? We're not getting sun exposure. And then we're only or primarily getting this non-native EMF, whether it be from a screen or from fluorescent
Mm.
lighting or something like that, that degrades our melanin sheets. And when the melanin starts to degrade, it actually turns into dopamine, right? And so we're actually creating this addiction cycle and we're depleting our melanin stores. We're becoming more sensitive to non-native EMF. And now we're losing conduction velocity and coherence in our nervous system. And we're starting to see things like ADHD, neurobehavioral disorders, autism, chronic disorders of all types. This absolutely drives diabetes. There's multiple studies connecting it to that, all types of metabolic disorders and dysfunction. And what's going on? We're just not living how we were designed. We're designed to be outside in the sun. We're not designed to be in front of a screen inside, period, in the story.